In today's video, we're playing Mind's Desire in Legacy, but this is no High Tide deck. We're casting Dark Ritual. Let's go check it out. Today we're playing Mind's Desire Storm in Legacy, and it comes as a donation deck from Matthew Story, who's a member of our Stormtrooper tier, where we work on all of our decks. Matthew, thank you for your continued support over the years. I really do appreciate it. And we worked on this deck in the Stormtrooper tier because Matthew wanted to see Mind's Desire in the most competitive way possible in a Dark Ritual deck. That was the challenge. So I opened it up to the Stormtroopers to help me build the best deck, and collectively we came up with the 75 in front of you. And honestly, I love it. This isn't just me saying this to shill views. I think if I had to play Mind's Desire in Legacy, this is the most competitive thing you could do. I originally mocked up a list that had things like Mizzix's Mastery in there, but that card forces you to play things like Rite of Flame and Manamorphose, and you ended up with a really color-intensive deck. Well, we simplified the deck a little bit because we're playing just blue and black, and the blue is really just Mind's Desire, the Song of Creation, and a couple sideboard cards. So we're primarily a black deck, and we get to protect our combo using Duress and Thoughtseize. And I say protect our combo because one of the most popular cards in Legacy right now is Consign to Memory. And if you're a Mind's Desire deck, you need to be able to protect this card from being countered by Consign to Memory. So 7 discard spells do that. Those discard spells also clear the way for Beseech the Mirror into Gaea's Will for a clean and easy win. So all of these things sort of synergize together, and it makes a lot of sense to me. But if you're a Beseech the Mirror deck, you need cards to bargain. This was another problem with that Rite of Flame Manamorphose list. So we're playing Grim Monolith today to get that artifact count up. So we have the classic Chrome Mox, Lion's Eye Diamond, Lotus Petal, and Mox Opal Shell. But in this deck, Grim Monolith provides 3 more artifacts for Metalcraft and Bargain, but it also gets you 3 mana closer to casting Mind's Desire, so you're not as reliant on drawing Dark Ritual. All these things just make perfect sense to me. And one thing that I found with this deck is, well, you need a plan B for your Beseech the Mirror. Song of Creation, if you're playing all these artifacts, can slot over, a card that we play in the Epic Storm. But if you're going to do this, you need a reliable way to cast it. So we're playing 1 green mana source, no red mana sources, because we are playing the Haywire Might, Carpet of Flowers, and Beseech who Endure in the sideboard. So you do get that light green splash, but off the red mana, you can typically rely on Mox Opal and Lotus Petal, things like that. But a nice aspect of Song of Creation is you can play it off of Mind's Desire. And speaking of playing things off Mind's Desire, we have Mastermind's Acquisition. This allows you to beat things like the One Ring, because it can either grab a card in your main deck, like that Mind's Desire or Beseech the Mirror, but it can also grab the sideboard Thassa's Oracle to beat the One Ring, which is something I'm interested in doing. So having this expensive card makes sense if you can play it for free. And when you're, chaining Mind's Desires, it's pretty easy to exile your entire deck and then win with the Thassa's Oracle. So I believe that makes sense. Or if you can't Mind's Desire, Song of Creation's pretty good at drawing your entire library as well. So all of these things synergize really, really well, and it's all tied together with this nice backup plan of Urza's Saga, going back to the discard spells. Decks like Black Saga Storm exist because the discard spells slow the game down. And if you slow the game down, Urza's Saga is more likely to win the game, either with the, construct tokens attacking for lethal, or getting to that final chapter in order to grab your Lion's Eye Diamond, so that way you can enable a Beseech the Mirror win. So discard spells protect Urza's Saga, they protect your Mind's Desire from Consign to Memory, and they protect Beseech the Mirror into Gaea's Will. So everything here is just so smooth, and that's really what I like about the deck. On top of that, if you're not playing Burning Wish, you do get a full sideboard. So we have the 4 copies of Boomerang Basics, because they can cycle with things like Mox Opal or Chrome Mox if they're not a live card in your hand. With those open slots, you get things like Fairy Macabre, so that way you're better against Oopsal spells and Dimir Reanimator, decks like Dredge, etc. You have Carpet of Flowers versus the blue decks. On top of that, you have Beseech who Endures, which can come in against blue decks. It helps play that Carpet of Flowers, but it also destroys things like Null Rod or Deafening Silence, for example. Haywire Might does destroy Deafening Silence or Leyline of the Void, and you can find it off of Urza's Saga. The same thing can be said of Nile Spellbomb, a Urza's Saga target that answers the graveyard versus, Dimir Reanimator. And that's the deck tech. Matthew, I really do appreciate your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you would like to be a part of the conversations where we work on decks, join that Stormtrooper tier either on Patreon or YouTube, connect those accounts to Discord, and, chat with us, make combo decks better. That's what I'm really in the market of doing. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff, and I'll see you in match number 1. Don't go anywhere. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to match number 1 with Desire Storm. We are on the play. Alright, so unfortunately we've opened up a hand that does not function. If this hand had, a Lotus Petal in it, it'd be closer, but that still doesn't actually get the job done. Yeah, I'm afraid this hand is actually a few pieces away. We'll mulligan. Where are my lands? I'm playing 14 of them. I mean, I've played 11 land storm decks recently, and this one's playing 3 more. Okay, so I think we keep this. Our opponent has mulliganed as well. I think you're actually supposed to keep the Chrome Mox just because it's a imprintable for the Urza Saga. And then that way you can activate the Urza Saga. So I think you're supposed to bottom like Lotus Petal Grim Monolith. And then you play turn 1 Wishclaw Talisman. And then you'll have the Saga to get Lion's Eye Diamond. And then, in theory, if you don't beat down win, you could Gaia's Will win. So this is a pretty good 5-card hand. We'll play the Chrome Mox. They're thinking about it, apparently. We'll imprint the Beseech the Mirror. Play Urza Saga. This triggers. And now I'll play Wishclaw Talisman. Pass the turn. The Wishclaw Talisman resolves, and I will pass. I do receive some comments sometimes asking why I don't play Black Saga Storm as often on the channel. And I have nothing against Black Saga Storm, but people seem to really like Wishclaw Talisman. So they could be Blue Post, or they could be, what is it called? Mystic Forge combo. So I could go for a win here. Actually, no. I could cast Beseech the Mirror, but I couldn't loop it, so we'll pass. But going back to the Black Saga Storm point, it's a fine deck. I really do believe that. Like, it does well in challenges, people 5-0 leagues. It's a competitive deck you can choose to play in Legacy. I think it's not as good as the Epic Storm, and I'm not saying that because I'm the one who made the Epic Storm. It's just I truly believe the Epic Storm is more competitive, but people don't play the Epic Storm in the challenges, therefore it gets less results. So, you have to play decks in order to get results with them, and I don't have time to play challenges in my life. I played my first challenge in a year a couple weeks ago. So it's tough to make happen when I have kids and stuff like that. But the Black Saga Storm deck, it's fine. There's nothing inherently wrong with it. Like, I do think it's a competitive thing you can do. So they're going to play Karn the Great. Ooh, it's not Karn. Okay, it's stock up. So they likely have a force. I could try to win on my turn, but I think I'd rather just make another construct and force them to deal with the constructs while I try to protect my win. So we'll make the first construct, a little 3/3, nothing to worry about. We'll draw for turn, and we'll make another. Not a favorable matchup for the Storm deck, I will say. Play out the Lotus Petal. So this will make it 6 power, and we're pretty close to this Dark Ritual Tendrils of Agony next turn. And they can't counter the Tendrils of Agony off of Wishclaw Talisman, so they could counter 1 copy, but they couldn't counter the search for Wishclaw Talisman. I suppose in theory I could have gone... No, I was a mana short of Mind's Desire there. Never mind, ignore me. They have Urza's Tower, 7 mana total. Only 1 of it blue. I guess if they had Karn the Great Creator into Ensnaring Bridge here, I'd be in a tough spot. I don't even know if I could win after that. Maybe I shouldn't have spoken into existence. Thundertrap Trainer. Okay. They did not do the Offspring. That's interesting. I would have thought that they would do the Offspring mode if they're looking to make chump blockers. They revealed a stock up. And they have Eldrazi Confluence. Wow. That's devastating here. That hurt. I don't love my chances right now. I think if we get lucky and I draw into... And they found Force of Negation off of the Thunder Trap Trainer. That was so good for them. If I hit like a discard spell and they only had one Force, there was a chance. I don't know now. We'll play Verdant Catacombs and pass. So, a way that I could win, assuming that they don't hit me with a Karn the Great Creator, is if I were to surveil into a spell, and then we get them to force something, and then Mind's Desire, but I feel like I'm going to just lose to a Karn the Great Creator soon. Wow, that Eldrazi Confluence was so good for them. They've played a bunch of stock ups, and there's Karn. Unfortunate. Yeah, not where we wanted to be. I mulliganed to 5, too. Like, we were in this game for it being a mulligan to 5 versus a bad matchup because of Urza's Saga. It's just I wasn't able to convert. And I don't think I'm going to be able to come back at this point, so I might just concede in a minute. We will surveil. Definitely don't want Wishclaw Talisman when there's a Karn the Great Creator in play. We drew the Gaia's Will. I mean, I'm good to wrap this one up. Okay, so we lose game number 1. We likely want the Beseech who endures the Haywire Might. They are a Chalice of the Void deck. We probably want some number of Boomerang basics. I don't know if we want all of them, but let's just sideboard for now. I like Mind's Desire versus the deck with a bunch of forces in it because it's a way to power through them. I think we could probably shave a couple Wishclaw Talismans versus the Karn the Great Creator deck. We can probably sideboard out Grim Monolith. And then we'll cut a land because we're bringing in 2. Probably the basic Swamp. I don't know why we would need a basic in this matchup. And maybe 1 Mox Opal. Let's try this. On the play for game number 2. This is a hand of Magic the Gathering cards. That is a truth about this hand. We're going to send it back. Technically a hand. So the way that I look at this hand is it's basically a 5-card hand right now. I think you can count each Mox Opal as half, and then the Tendrils. So you could bottom Tendrils of Agony, hope to spike a land. I'm going to go to 5. Like, I really don't believe this card is going to beat Blue Post. And now we're on 5 with no lands. So you could bottom the... There's no good way to do this. Our opponent mulliganed to 6. So you could bottom Boomerang Basics and then, like, Dark Ritual or Wishclaw Talisman. Why wasn't there a second land? The other option is you just, like, accept that you don't have protection. Maybe that's better. We'll get rid of Boomerang Basics and Duress. Play Lion's Eye Diamond. Play Chromox. We'll imprint the Mastermind's Acquisition. Pass the turn. Something you might be thinking is, why would I play out Chromox and Lion's Eye Diamond in my Mind's Desire deck early? Because I'm losing that Storm count. And that is a fair thought. I'm not going to disagree with anyone. But they're also a Chalice of the Void deck. And I think if they play Chalice of the Void on 0 and I do nothing on my first turn, I definitely lose the game. Where here they have to think about playing the Chalice of the Void for 0, or do you want to hold it for Chalice of the Void for 1? And it creates an opportunity where maybe I draw into something that allows me to win. Am I going to win this? Probably not, because they're a deck that has a bunch of forces in it, and I have no protection, and I have no resources. So if I draw a mana, I probably have to try to just spike a turn 2 win into a force effect, and that's not going to go well. But it's likely the best thing that gives me the odds of winning, and that's what I'm going to do. They play Disruptor. Okay. It's also worth noting that because I imprinted the Mastermind's Acquisition, I can no longer beat the One Ring, so that's a problem. They named Runehorn Hellkite. That is a sign that their hand has a lot of protection in it. Okay. There's a Saga. We'll play it. So I could try to spike a win here, or I can just play Wishclaw and try to set up a Mind's Desire turn. I would be going all in on Beseech the Mirror. And based on them naming Runehorn Hellkite, I think it's safe to say that they probably have interaction. So I think I'll just play Wishclaw Talisman. Pass the turn. They play Planner Nexus. They have 3 mana here. Thundertrap Trainer, they're at 16. They find Force of Will. Okay. Saga goes to the second chapter. Let's attempt a Dark Ritual. See if they force this. If they let this resolve, I could theoretically Duress. If they only have the 1 Force of Will, we have a Beseech the Mirror win. But I kind of doubt that's the case. Our opponent deep on the tank with this Dark Ritual. They end up playing Force of Will. Okay. And I think I just pass. So them forcing the Dark Ritual is okay as long as they don't play anything that causes me to cry on their turn. So a One Ring, Karn the Great Creator, etc. Next turn, I can float a mana off of Urza Saga, grab a Lion's Eye Diamond, Duress, take their remaining counter magic, and then Beseech the Mirror win. But I need them to not have a pivotal spell here. Okay, stock up. That's fine with me. Alright, they have 4 cards in hand. They play a Disruptor Flute. Now they can name Wishclaw Talisman. That's bad news. Okay, we are in trouble. So one of the reasons that I've said that I don't like the Black Saga Storm deck is because of this interaction here. Because the Wishclaw Talisman lives on the battlefield, they know what to name with Disruptor Flute. And normally, spells with the chosen name cost 3 more to cast. I can power through Disruptor Flute with the Epic Storm by paying 3 more for an Echo of Aeons or 3 more for a Burning Wish when it's time to win. This last line, activated abilities of sources with the chosen name can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. There's no getting around that with Wishclaw Talisman. What? They named Beseech the Mirror? That's wild. Actually wild. Okay. But, I mean, if our opponent knew what they were doing, we were just flat out of this game. Really surprised by that. We'll float a colorless. Am I supposed to grab a diamond here? I could grab Haywire Might, but then I would need to draw a land that allows me to activate the Haywire Might. So if I play Duress, alright, so hypothetically, let's say I grab Lion's Eye Diamond, I play Duress, they don't force it. I can then Mind's Desire for 2. That is not particularly encouraging, especially when I can't play Beseech the Mirror. Even if they forced the Duress, which I doubt that they would do, it would be a Mind's Desire for 3. I think it's supposed to be the Haywire Might. Feels real bad, though. Because they're in the better top deck mode than I am. So I would need a green mana, but then I'd also have to wait a full turn cycle. I think I actually am supposed to take the chance on Mind's Desire for 2, as sad as that is. We'll play Duress. Their hand is Karn and 2 lands. I could actually play Beseech the Mirror for 7. So I just need 1 more mana next turn? Okay, I'll wait. 1 more mana allows me to Beseech the Mirror, and that should be a win. So this goes back to the having the ability to play the card through Disruptor Flute for 3. If they named Wishclaw, I wouldn't stand a chance. They play Urza's Tower. They attack. I go to 18. Looks like they drew a spell. They're paying costs. They found Thunder Trap Trainer. No! Oh, that's so devastating here. It's like one of their best top decks. It's that and stock up. They find Kozilek's Command. They currently can Kozilek's Command for 0, so I need to draw that mana right now if I want to be able to Beseech the Mirror, because this will exile my graveyard. And another Karn the Great Creator. Okay, so it's now or never. I have to draw something good here. Please, deck. Please, don't fail me. There we go. That'll do it, pig. That'll do. Alright, so we'll add a bunch of mana here. I should not be in this game, but I will take it. We'll activate the Wishclaw Talisman. We'll grab Beseech the Mirror. And I'll cast it for 7 mana, bargaining away the Chrome Mox. We'll grab Gaea's Will. Play Dark Ritual. Storm is 3. Lion's Eye Diamond. Storm 5. Lion's Eye Diamond. Storm 6. Lion's Eye Diamond. Storm 7. Tendrils of Agony. Storm 8. And they're at 13. So we managed to win this on a mulligan to 5. I had no right being in this game, but we now have an opportunity in Game 3 to draw a little bit better and maybe beat Blue Post. So let's see if we can make that happen. 15 lands in the deck. I don't think I'm supposed to board in lands. I'm 16. I guess I could board out 1 Mox Opal and just try to be even more resilient to Chalice and Karn. Maybe that's not a terrible idea. Okay, we'll see how this goes. Well, this could do it. I mean, I talked about discard spells with Urza Saga in the deck tech, and while this is a hand with discard spells in Urza Saga and lands, I think we keep. They play a Cloud Post. We will fetch, grab Underground Sea, and Thoughtseize. Okay. I wonder if it's crazy to take the Thunder Trap Trainer. I think that's actually what I'm going to do here. And then we'll pass. They drew Planar Nexus. Okay, so now the Cloud Post taps for 3. I'm sorry, the Cloud Post taps for 2, but they have 3 mana total. And they choose to pass the turn. Let's play another Thoughtseize, see if this resolves. They flash in Disruptor Flute, sure. And they name Dark Ritual. We'll take the Kozilek's Command, leaving them with Force of Negation, Sink in a Stupor, and Underground Sea. I'll play the Lion's Eye Diamond and see if they force it. If they do, I think that's honestly okay. We'll play Mox Opal and Urza's Saga. Pass the turn. They play Underground Sea, and they found stock up for their draw step, so now they get to dig 5 and put their 2 best cards to their hand. Pretty terrifying for me. They have 4 in hand. We draw Chrome Mox, okay. Saga goes to the second chapter. Let's play Beseech Who Endures. I'm going to main phase a Construct here, because that way it enables the Mox Opal, and I don't have to run out the Chrome Mox if I don't want to. And then I'll play Duress. I think we just take the other stock up here. Pass the turn. So they have Double Force, Sink into Stupor, and they can use Sink into Stupor on the construct that's in play. My best draw is probably another copy of Urza's Saga. We'll draw for turn, Witchclaw Talisman. Let's make another construct. We'll grab Lion's Eye Diamond, and I'll go to combat. I think I'm going to try to save the Witchclaw Talisman for Mind's Desire. Right now, if I played Chrome Mox and printed Boomerang Basics, I can't Desire, I'm 1 mana short. Hull Breacher. Okay. I wasn't planning on drawing cards anyway. I believe our opponent's playing the list from Eternal Weekend Europe, and I'll be honest, I don't think this deck needs Hull Breacher. It's already so good against combo decks, because you're a, 6+ force main deck, and then you have Karn the Great Creator, Chalice of the Void. Why do you need Hull Breacher? It's not even good against fair decks, so it's just a little bit odd to me. Let's attempt the Witchclaw Talisman. They'll probably force it, but if they hardcast it, they can't Sink in a Stupor this turn, which is why I'm willing to play it in my first main phase. They let it go. Let's play the Chrome Mox. Storm is 2. We'll imprint Song of Creation. Imprint the song. Let's go to combat. And now we'll attack for 14. They still have that Sink in a Stupor in their hand. They can filter the Planar Nexus for blue and then use Underground Sea to cast Sink in a Stupor. But they made 3 in the blue. They've ripped Eldrazi Confluence. Our opponents had like 3 or 4 good draws in a row here. Wow. Okay. Unfortunate. So I do have a line here. I can Boomerang Basics on my own Mox Opal, replay the Opal. They'll get a treasure because I'm going to draw a card off Boomerang Basics. And I don't want to draw a card, but I will. So this is just for Storm purposes, and then we can Mind's Desire for 6 into 1 copy of Force of Negation. So they get a treasure. We know what their hand is. The treasure doesn't matter. And then I'll add black. We'll make blue with the Lion's Eye Diamond. And black. Activate Witchclaw Talisman. And we're going to Mind's Desire for 6. And I have to hope that Mind's Desire is good enough to beat double Force of Negation. Alright. Hitting another Mind's Desire would be the way. Here it is, Mind's Desire. They can force 1 object, because they have double Force of Negation, 1 copy of Sink into Stupor. We reveal Thoughtseize. Duress. Okay, so I need to hit an action spell. Things are not looking good. Boomerang Basics, though that could theoretically bounce the Witchclaw. They should have forced the last copy in case they hit another Mind's Desire, but they didn't. So we'll play the Duress. We'll take Force of Negation. Play the Thoughtseize. Take the Force of Negation. Boomerang Basics on the Witchclaw Talisman. Play Lotus Petal. Play Lotus Petal. Play the Chrome Mox. No imprint. Am I supposed to play the Claw this turn? So they will have Sink in a Stupor next turn. So I'd just be giving away a Lotus Petal for no reason, I feel like. I'm going to pass. So we know their hand is a single copy of Sink in a Stupor and 1 unknown. They drew the One Ring. Okay. Yeah. Not loving this right now. Our opponent has had some fortunate draw steps in a row. Haywire Might. It does beat the One Ring. We'll play it. And then we'll play Witchclaw Talisman. I mean, obviously, Haywire Might was a good draw for me there. They're going to Sink in a Stupor on the Witchclaw. That's fascinating. Okay. Let's exile the One Ring. They have no hand. I'll pass the turn. They attack for 3, I'll go to 9. And they drew Karn the Great Creator. Yeah, that's how Magic goes sometimes. Devastating. Our Mind's Desire for 6 did not hit an action spell. And I think that was the difference maker here. They find another copy of the One Ring. I'll play the Witchclaw Talisman. Pass the turn. Our opponent's only 1 mana away from Mycosynth Lattice as well. So now a land would lock me out of the game. They play the One Ring and another Cloud Post. So next turn they have Mycosynth Lattice. They use the card in the Great Creator. They shouldn't have used it at all this turn or plussed it, because now if I draw a discard spell, I could discard the Mycosynth Lattice and Beseech the Mirror. Okay, we did not win game number 3. Unfortunate. I mean, I feel like I did all I could there. If I could have done something better, let me know in the comments, but for now, we're going to head on over to match number 2. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Match number 2, we're on the play versus someone who plays a lot of Cephalid Breakfast. I don't know if that's what they're playing today, but they are known to play it. Here we have sort of a clunky hand. Do I keep this? I could imprint, Mastermind's Acquisition, play Duress, Sewers. This hand's basically a mulligan to 5. Really almost like a 4, because the Song of Creation 2. I'm going to take an actual mulligan. This is much better. We'll keep, get rid of the Mind's Desire. I believe we're an artifact away from a Beseech the Mirror win on turn 2. So I can Thoughtseize on turn 1, and then I think any artifact gives me the win on turn 2. We'll take the Brainstorm. So they're on Dimir tempo, it looks like. We'll pass the turn, so not Cephalid Breakfast. Wasteland, okay. That means the Wishclaw Talisman is no longer lethal. I'll take another land, though. We'll play it and pass. Flooded Strand. They have one unknown card. Another Wishclaw Talisman. We'll play Lion's Eye Diamond. And Wishclaw Talisman. Pass the turn. They fetch with the Flooded Strand. Searching out Undercity Sewers. Puts Tamiyo Inquisitive Student to the graveyard. They currently have 2 unknown cards, and then they drew Brainstorm. Backbreaking. Okay. They play Polluted Delta. They have 4 cards in their hand now. Nethergoyf, 3 cards. Mox Opal. I'll play the Mox Opal. We do have Metalcraft. I think I'm going to wait a turn, because if I wait a turn, I could have backup. So I could use Wishclaw Talisman for like a Thoughtseize, and then Beseech the Mirror win. Well, they have their own Thoughtseize, so that's going to shut off my win, my protected win at least. I would need more mana to win the game now. I go to 14, they still have 3 cards in hand, another Brainstorm. Okay. I could always just draw a discard spell 2, and that would allow me to win this turn. I believe I'm supposed to pass the turn here. My opponent has 3 cards in their hand. So if I draw an imprintable next turn, that actually gives me enough to win through a Force of Will, but I would lose to Force of Will plus Daze. And they don't do anything there. Okay, well that was exactly what I wanted. So we'll play Thoughtseize. I could even beat a Daze now, I believe. Could I beat double Daze? We'll take the Force of Will. So if I Wishclaw Talisman for a Lion's Eye Diamond, Wishclaw again, that beats double Daze. So I'll activate Wishclaw Talisman. We'll go grab a Lion's Eye Diamond. Play Chrome Mox. The other Brainstorms were pretty good. They completely transformed their hand from garbage into pretty incredible. And now I'll add 6 black mana to my mana pool. And we'll use Wishclaw Talisman. We'll go grab Beseech the Mirror. And we'll cast it with Bargain, sacrificing the Mox Opal. And that resolves. We'll go search out the Gaea's Will. And we'll cast it. Storm is 5. I am not going to put myself in a spot where I lose the Daze. So our opponent's pausing on everything, but they're just never going to have the opportunity. And I think they see that now. And they concede. So we win game number 1. Post-board, I will be bringing in Beseiju Who Endures and Carpet of Flowers. Haywire Might doesn't actually beat anything I think we care about, because they're going to bring in Null Rod. Haywire Might doesn't answer Null Rod. They have Tamiyo Inquisitive Students, so I don't think I love the Empty the Warrens. I think maybe here we just board out Mox Opals, because they're going to have Consigned to Memories, plus a bunch of other things. So I think just boarding up on cards that don't lose to Null Rod, like the Beseijus and the Carpets, is fine enough. Alternatively, you could board out the Grim Monoliths. That might be better. Yeah, let's try this instead. This is quite the hand I will keep. We came to party with this one. They play Basic Island, and Ponder. They did not shuffle with the Ponder. Urza Saga. Let's play Lotus Petal, Lion's Eye Diamond, Mox Opal. Then we'll play Urza Saga. Let's try Carpet of Flowers, see if that resolves. Switch phases. Carpet of Flowers. Say yes, we'll make black mana. Wishclaw Talisman. I'm 1 mana short of Mind's Desire here. That resolves. I will pass the turn. They play Polluted Delta. Beseech the Mirror. Okay, so Carpet of Flowers. I'll say yes, we'll make black. Urza Saga goes to the second chapter. Let's just make a construct. Casual 5/5, no big deal. Surveil. Keep Duress on top. Pass the turn. They fetch with Polluted Delta. Underground Sea. They play Flooded Strand. Now they're fetching. Borrow Goyf. Okay, so they have 4 cards in hand. I think we're going to be able to win this now. Because we're about to draw Duress. Their hand would have to be stacked for me to not win here. So we'll just float a colorless. We'll grab another Lion's Eye Diamond. Carpet of Flowers will make 3 mana. Better than Soul Ring right now. We'll play Duress. Force, Ponder, Bowmaster. So we'll start there. We'll activate the Wishclaw Talisman. We can go get another discard spell. We'll grab Duress. Duress the opponent. Take the other Force of Will. Dark Ritual. Beseech the Mirror with Bargain. Sacrifice the Mox Opal. We'll make black. And our opponent has conceded the match. Nice. Alright, well our deck operated a little bit better than it did in match 1, which is good. So we got a win, and we are now 1-1. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $15.99. This token combo pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens featuring classic Storm and Mana tokens with new inclusions such as our modern Ruby Storm package, but that's not all. Our token pack covers a variety of formats from Pauper to CDH with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. Round number 3, on the draw, we've opened up a double Mox Opal hand, and there's no real way to get Metalcraft here. If you drew a land, this hand is actually pretty crazy, but the question is, do you draw the land? Do they have their own Thoughtseize? Do they have a Daze? There's a lot of what-ifs here. I think you should actually just mulligan. And this is probably a better hand. I would bottom a Chrome Mox and see where we go from here. Maybe, actually, is it better to... Yeah, we'll bottom the Tendrils. I feel like the Chrome Mox might be better if we're an Urza Saga, excuse me, an Urza Saga gamer this game. Like, my game plan, if I kept the Tendrils, would be to imprint, and then you're without a win condition unless you cast Mastermind's Acquisition, so I think it's better to bottom. We're not a Burning Wish deck, so imprinting Tendrils of Agony is not as free as it would be in the Epic Storm. They play a Verdant Catacombs for a Bayou. And Thoughtseize, so our 7-card hand would have lost on the spot. They take the Thoughtseize. Interesting. We'll play Urza Saga. Lion's Eye Diamond, and we'll pass. They play Noble Hierarch and a Wasteland. So not a great Urza Saga matchup. Okay. Mox Opal. So we're sitting with 2 dead copies of Chrome Mox in my hand. My best draw by far would be Wishclaw Talisman. They play Misty Rainforest. They fetch Birds of Paradise. Keen Eye Curator. Alright, Wishclaw Talisman. Nope. Alright, we will play Grim Monolith. Pass the turn. If I drew Beseech the Mirror, I can currently not play it. I only have 2 black mana. 4 mana for a natural order. Honestly, I lose the game to Collector Oof, so I wouldn't be surprised if they got that instead of Atraxa Grand Unifier. And they did get Collector Oof. Okay, I will go to the next one. Unfortunate. Alright, so we'll bring in Boomerang Basics. And I kind of like Empty the Warrens in this matchup, so I'll bring it in. Board out Grim Monolith and the Mastermind's Acquisition. I don't think we need that if we have the Empty the Warrens in the main deck. Let's try this out. Game number 2 on the play. I think we keep this. I could turn 1 Empty the Warrens for 8. I'd lose to a Force of Vigor. I also don't know if 8 Goblins is actually good enough. We'll play Urza Saga. My fear is if they Force of Vigor in response to Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual? I think we're going to go for the Goblin line. This way we're not weak to Thoughtseize. Okay. 8 Goblins. Let's hope it's good enough. And while they're distracted with Goblins, we can start getting Urza Saga online, which is why I think I'm okay with only 8 Goblins instead of 10. They play a Bayou. Ignoble Hierarch. Draw a Lotus Petal. I think we'll play the Lotus Petal then, and Urza's Saga. If I didn't draw a mana here, I would have just played a fetch land. We'll swing. They go to 12. They have a Gaia's Cradle. Endurance. Exiling Birds of Paradise. And they can now tap the Cradle for 2 mana. This gives them enough mana to natural order into Atraxa, which we do lose to. Yep. Wow. That's not good for me. I guess I could draw Boomerang Basics. That would be the hit here. If I drew Boomerang Basics, there's 4 of them in the deck. It is possible. Oh, no way! No way! Okay. Better lucky than good. We'll grab Underground Sea. Boom, boom. Here we go. That was all skill, let me tell you. I knew it was my out. I said I was going to draw it, and there we were. That's obviously sarcasm. Pretty lucky there. Game 3, we're on the draw. That was amazing. All right, let's see if we can pull a rabbit out of a hat twice. Okay, so we have Desire and Empty the Warrens in our hand. I don't think I'm supposed to mulligan this, though. That's the bad thing. I'll keep. Not feeling very confident about this keep. Our opponent on the play with 6 cards. They play a Verdant Catacombs versus Saga. I'll just play the basic Swamp and pass. They fetch for Underground Mortuary. Gets rid of an Endurance, which probably means that they already have one in hand. They play Windswept Heath for another Bayou. Keen-Eyed Curator, okay. We draw another Mind's Desire. Not a good draw here. Yikes. And they're going to Force of Vigor immediately. Okay. I could not tap it for mana. It did not have the ability to tap for mana yet. I will pass the turn. They have 2 cards in their hand. Surgical Extraction on Urza's Saga. Okay. They really don't want me using the graveyard. That's what I'm learning here. Okay, because we saw a crop rotation for Bojuka Bog. They have Endurance, they have Keen-Eyed Curator, and they have Surgical Extraction. The graveyard is off limits. I understand that now. And now they play Bojuka Bog. They have 1 card left in their hand. I think they should start exiling their own cards to this to make it larger. Draw Chrome Box. Honestly, not a bad draw. We'll play it. Imprint Mind's Desire. Play Wishclaw Talisman. Pass the turn. We have 1 Mind's Desire left in the deck, and then we have Song of Creation as another target. We probably lose to that. Green Sun Zenith for Collector beats me here. Oh, that's devastating. They had a very disruptive draw this game. We have to pass. So I have 4 Boomerang Basics, and then I would need to also draw a blue mana source, which seems pretty unlikely. And now they drew Thoughtseize. I don't see a world where we get out of this. So they're going to attack for 5, puts me to 8. And then I'm pretty sure they can pump the Curator enough to kill me. So now, the Ignoble Hierarch actually doesn't help them much here. Because it won't have Exalted. So my draws have to be Boomerang Basics or blue mana source in consecutive draws for me to win this. That doesn't do it. Alright, so we end up losing the match. I mean, we had a really sweet game number 2. Regardless of the loss, that game was amazing. And we are now 1-2, unfortunately. If you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. Round number 4, we're on the play. Some people might say this isn't a keep, but I'm going to keep it. I like the idea of Urza Saga gaming with multiples. We have Duress to slow the game down. This all makes sense to me. They play Volcanic Island and Dragon's Rage Channeler. Okay. 5 cards in their hand. Ooh, another land wasn't the best draw. I'm going to play Urza Saga and pass the turn. I was hoping for an imprintable for the Chrome Mox so I could play Duress on turn 1, but it didn't shape out that way. Alright, Dragon's Rage Channeler. Triggers out when they cast a Ponder. They put Mishra's Bauble to the graveyard. So now they have 3 card types for Delirium. And they found a Wasteland. Okay. I'll take 1 down to 19. We'll draw again. Another Lotus Petal. I'll play Urza Saga. Pass the turn. Basic Island. Delver of Secrets. Okay. And another Ponder. I can't but wonder if they should have pondered first, because they could have dug for another Wasteland if that was something they cared about. Maybe they don't when they have 2 creatures in play. because their thought process is I'll just race now. And if that's the case, maybe I should pivot off of beatdown and start fetching for surveil lands and just try to have a protected win. They did not shuffle, so their Delver will flip next turn. Dark Ritual. We'll play the Polluted Delta. I think I'm going to just pass. So I've thought about this a little bit, and I think there is one point of friction in this deck, and because of the way this game has played out, we haven't necessarily played into it. Urza's Saga is a card that wants you to play out all of your cards, because you're rewarded for making a large construct. But Mind's Desire is a card that wants you to hold all of your spells for Storm. It's not that they can't coexist, but it does make you wonder if that friction is worth it. I think the answer is probably yes if you want to play a competitive deck with Mind's Desire in it, but it's just something that you have to think about as you play the deck. Like, is this a Mind's Desire game? Also, like, I might only have one draw step to find that action spell here. Okay. So currently they're attacking for 6, which would put me to 12. Alright. They have 3 cards left in their hand. I need to find a payoff spell. We'll fetch and grab Undercity Sewers. Surveil trigger. That is not a payoff spell. Straight to the graveyard. They'll draw off Mishra's Bauble. Draw for turn. We did not hit. I could try to Dark Ritual here and make a blocker, but if they have a Daze, I'm going to get blown out. I think it's better than just dying, so we'll try to Dark Ritual. And we'll make a construct. I don't have anything to grab off of Urza's Saga that would dig for a payoff spell. We'll grab Mox Opal. I don't think I need another Lion's Eye Diamond in this spot. We'll play our land, Lotus Petal, and let's try Duress. So they'll have Delirium next turn. We'll take the Force of Will. I could play out one more artifact, so that way if they found Lightning Bolt, I wouldn't be dead to the Monk token. So I'll play Chrome Mox. It means that if I find Mind's Desire next turn, I'm a little bit punished, but I think it's still the correct move. So I'm not dead to Lightning Bolt. They Ponder. They did not shuffle with the Ponder. They play a Mishra's Bauble. This will make another Monk. Does that end up killing me? So then they Brainstorm. I block the one with 4 power and I take 9. But if they could play 2 spells, I lose. They have Chain Lightning. That is going to kill me. So they pondered into Chain Lightning. Alright, hold up. Turn off auto yields. I would like to just look at my top card before I die to see if I would have found another payoff spell. Bummer. Okay. Brutal. My opening hand ended up not being good based on how this game played out. But I don't regret keeping it. Like, I would probably keep it all over again, to be honest. We'll bring in Carpet of Flowers, Beseech Who Endures, Empty the Warrens, take out the Grim Monoliths, and 1 Mox Opal. Also sideboard out the Mastermind's Acquisition because we have the Empty the Warrens in the deck. Game number 2 on the play. Very good hand. Keep. So we can fetch for the basic swamp, play Thoughtseize, turn 2 play Bayou, play all of our artifacts. As long as I draw an imprintable, we can Beseech the Mirror. Alright, I will fetch, grab the basic swamp, and Thoughtseize. We'll take the Force of Will, pass the turn. Very good hand for the opponent. So now, any imprintable does not win the game for me, unless our opponent doesn't daze anything prior to Beseech the Mirror. They play Delver Secrets. Okay. I did not draw an imprintable anyway. We'll play Urza's Saga, pass the turn. Delver Secrets. They Brainstorm in the upkeep, and they reveal a Ponder that... Oh, we didn't know about the Ponder. Or the Volcanic Island. They have 1 unknown in their hand? Okay. Now we draw a Witchclaw Talisman, another non-imprintable. I could just disrespect here and try to win. Let's play Lion's Eye Diamond. Okay, their 1 unknown was a Consigned to Memory. I think we just play Witchclaw Talisman and pass. I don't think, like, making a construct actually matters in this spot. Now they Ponder. They Shuffle. Now they attack. I'll go to 11. Dragon's Reach Channeler. So they're back to 1 unknown card. Another Urza's Saga. We'll just tap the Urza's Saga for mana. We'll go grab a Lion's Eye Diamond. Play another Urza's Saga. Mox Opal. Chrome Mox that's empty. No. And then we'll make 3 black. And we'll Beseech the Mirror, floating a colorless. Sacrifice the Mox Opal. Maybe I should have started by sacrificing the Chrome Mox. That probably would have been better in case their last card was Force of Will. Yeah, it's a mistake on my part. And it is. That's just bad play on my side. Okay. They exiled the Daze. Their last card in hand is Preordain. Pass the turn. I can try again next turn. So it's not the end of the world. If we had a Veil of Summer in the deck, even as a one of, I could have protected my Beseech the Mirror there, but we don't. Now they Preordain, surveils away Daze, one on top, one on the bottom. They play a Flooded Strand, so it's not forcible blue card in their hand. They're fetching with Flooded Strand. I don't love that. Thundering Falls, okay. They kept a card on top. So now they'll attack for 6 and I go to 5. I think I can beat almost anything here. Surgical on Beseech them. Okay. So you go to 16. I said almost anything, but honestly, Surgical, very good against what I'm trying to do here. So if Surgical removes all of the copies of Beseech the Mirror, do I have to Mind's Desire? I can't Song of Creation in this spot. It might be a spot where I have to Mind's Desire for 3. Dark Ritual. Empty the Warrens isn't good in this spot. We'll make 3 blue. Use the Wishclaw Talisman. It'd be funny if I Mind's Desired into the Gaia's Will. Because Desire can actually cast Gaia's Will, so it's like I never needed Beseech the Mirror in the first place. I'm not seeing an out that isn't Mind's Desire, so we're going to cast Desire for 3 and pray to the Storm God Kuranos that we hit. Alright, let's see it. 3 spells. Mind's Desire. Empty the Warrens. That doesn't help here. Thoughtseize. Alright, it's all up to the last copy of Mind's Desire. And a Carpet of Flowers. Unfortunately, all of my opponent's creatures fly. And that Empty the Warrens is not going to be good enough. If it was Mastermind's Acquisition, which is what I sideboarded out, we could have played Carpet, played Mastermind's Acquisition for free, made 3 mana, Thoughtseize, Tendrils, which is 1 storm short. Okay, and we lose. We are now 1-3. With Card Hoarder, renting your favorite combo deck has never been easier. There isn't a more affordable solution for Magic Online. Want to play the deck in this video? Check out the pinned comment below to easily rent the deck from Card Hoarder. Did you know you can rent the Epic Storm from Card Hoarder for as little as 7 tickets a week? The final round, let's try to get a win and get half my play points back. Have I not learned my lesson? I don't think so. I will keep this. At least this time around the play, I really do believe you're supposed to keep these hands. You have protection, you can Urza Saga game. There are some people I meet in tutoring sessions, and they say, this hand doesn't have acceleration, it doesn't have disruption, it doesn't have a payoff. How many hands in all of these Storm decks do you think are going to have all of those pieces in the opener? It's pretty unrealistic, if you ask me. So I like keeping hands with 2/3 of them, and then, you know, figuring out my way from there. If these were Surveil lands, I'd probably keep as well. They have Double Wasteland, Tamiyo, Bloodstained Mire. Okay. I think I'll play out the Lion's Eye Diamond and pass. They play Wasteland, sure. I'm going to play out Urza Saga. I realized that I could play out the Marsh Flats and Surveil. I want the black mana, and I want them to burn the Wasteland. So I think that this is a win-win. Like, keeping Tamiyo offline a little bit longer makes sense to me. Okay, that was good. We'll play Marsh Flats. And I think I'll pass the turn. I'd like to Surveil. So now they're going to have 3 unknown cards. They fetch with the Bloodstained Mire, Underground Sea, and Tamiyo. So I don't know any of the cards in their hand anymore. If one of them is Force of Will, I'll probably end up crying myself to sleep, but I think we're going to try to go for a win. I do not need a Mind's Desire in this spot. Pro Mox, I don't think that helps a ton here. We'll play Lotus Petal, Wishclaw Talisman, they Force of Will. Okay, we will pass. They play their own copy of Marsh Flats. They have 1 card in their hand. We draw a Mox Opal. We'll play the Mox Opal, play the Chrome Mox. I'm not going to imprint, I don't think. And then we'll pass the turn. They fetch with the Marsh Flats. They have 1 card in their hand. They're about to draw a second with the Clue token, and they do. And now they ponder. So if they find any land, they can attack with Tamiyo, and then use the Clue token to transform Tamiyo to the Planeswalker half. And they did find Flooded Strand. Let's see if they're interested in making a Planeswalker. Nile Spellbomb. So that shuts off a easy Beseech the Mirror win. I'll make a construct. Another dark ritual. Let's make another creature. We'll grab Lotus Petal. I don't think I need more Lion's Eye Diamonds. Like, one is enough. So I think just initial mana sources is probably fine. We'll attack for 7. They're going to fetch with Flooded Strand. Do you have a Fatal Push as your last card? Yep. Yeah. And now they could transform the Tameo and get back the Fatal Push. In the next turn, I guess. I guess I could also kill the Tameo if they transform it, so maybe that doesn't work. They plus the Tameo, and now they play one as a blocker. I have to say, my opponents have drawn quite well this league. We'll swing. Attacking the Tameo to force them to block. Pass the turn. They now use Tameo to return Fatal Push. And they use a clue token. I would like a Mind's Desire. Sure, Thoughtseize me. You have 2 cards. Dark Ritual. Wishclaw Talisman. Is it force blue card? Yeah, sure, why not? Oh man. If I could pick the worst possible draws for me this entire league, this would be one of the... Like, this league in general, my opponents have just, like, had it all the time. And, like, that happens in Magic. I'm truly not salty. It's just, like, it's a little comical. Like, everything bad that could happen is happening. Murphy's Law, I believe it is. That's the expression. Wow. We'll play Bayou and pass. Our opponent can use Tameo now to return Force of Will to their hand. They don't do it. Bold move. That means that they're either crazy or they didn't draw a blue card. Mind's Desire. I'm going to wait a turn. I believe having the option to Mind's Desire for 3 is going to be better than 2. And now they return the Force of Will. I'm going to go to 2. So if they Force of Will the Dark Ritual, I'm going to feel like an idiot. But, oh no, we drew another Desire. That is not a draw I wanted here. Dark Ritual. Alright, so... I'm not even sure what I'd want to reveal off this. Like, there's only one other Mind's Desire. I'm trying to think, like, what I could draw to cast this one. Urza Saga is not it. They should force this Mind's Desire. People don't understand this. I ended up revealing 2 lands, which isn't good enough. So we'll concede. But I think it was my round 1, my opponent didn't force the last copy either. If I reveal another Mind's Desire, that force in your hand is bad. But... people seem to not want to do that. We'll bring in Carpet of Flowers, and I think it's just going to be cutting the Grim Monolith and the Mox Opal again. Yeah, we'll try this out. On the play. So if we don't get hit by Thoughtseize, theoretically I could go Beseech Go, turn to Imprint Dark Ritual, cast it. Alright, we'll keep. I need to draw into another mana source. Really a blue mana source, but we'll keep this and see how it goes. And they have Thoughtseize. They take my Mox Opal. We will pass the turn. They play Polluted Delta. Hymn to Torok. Sure. We'll play Bloodstained Mire and pass. Tameo Inquisitive Student. They destroy my Beseiju. We'll fetch and surveil. Undercity Sewers. As much as I would like a Duress, I don't think I'm allowed to keep one in this spot. I need action spells. Play the Urza Saga. Pass the turn. They play land number 3. They attack with Tameo. And they just pass the turn, nothing else. Saga goes to the second chapter. They have Consigned to Memory. We'll play Polluted Delta and pass. They draw off the clue token. Ouch. And step will search out the other Undercity Sewers. Carpet of Flowers doesn't help here. Another Saga. Okay, let's grab Mox Opal. We'll play Urza Saga. Pass the turn. And step, they draw off the clue. Marsh Flats. They attack, create another clue token. Urza Saga goes to the second chapter. It looks like no Consigned to Memory this time. I think I'll just pass the turn, make constructs, and sit on this Thoughtseize. They draw off the clue token. And now they fetch. Undercity Sewers. They kept a card on top. Scalding Tarn. 7 cards in their hand. Hymn to Torok. Yep. Double Lion's Eye Diamond. That was a toughie. Engineered Explosives for 0. No! The Magic Gods are cruel. Ay, ay, ay. I guess we'll make a construct. Float mana. We'll grab a Lotus Petal. Go to combat. Swing. Pass the turn. They use the clue token. And now they use Engineered Explosives. Alright, I'm going to pack this one in. This league was a bit of a nightmare, let's be honest. So I expected to do better, and I really do mean that. That is not me saying it to make Matthew Story feel better about submitting a Mind's Desire donation deck. I genuinely thought this deck looked pretty good. I was like, you know what? I could see this deck going 4-1. It's not what happened today. The inverse happened. But I think where I'd start for improving is probably cutting the Grim Monoliths. I thought we needed them for Mind's Desire. It never really happened that way. I do think there's some tension between Urza Saga and Desire that I did not see coming, because Desire really wants those cards on the battlefield. Saga really wants those cards on the battlefield, but Mind's Desire wants you to hold them. So I think Mind's Desire doesn't really work in that way, but my honest feedback for anyone watching is, why are you playing Mind's Desire when we could have been playing Echo of Aeons? Echo would have solved a lot of problems this league, but we weren't playing it because we were trying to make Mind's Desire work. And I think Mind's Desire is ultimately just a worse Echo of Aeons. We cast it twice and neither time it converted, which is just kind of ugly. Saga, I think, tends to be the best part of any of these Saga Storm decks that I play. And a lot of people are trying to fit it into the Epic Storm, but I think the Epic Storm does something that these decks don't, which is playing all of the best non-Saga cards. And as a cost of that, you can't play the 6th color. And the 6th color is colorless. So I think there's a cost to all of that stuff. And ultimately, Urza Saga isn't worth losing Veil of Summer and Burning Wish and all these other things. Echo of Aeons, for example. I mean, I'm glad Matthew submitted the donation deck, really. Thank you. It's just, Mind's Desire feels like it's sort of been power crept out of Legacy, unfortunately. That's what I've got for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Keep storming. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to support the channel. After you do that, open up our description where you can find all of our social media networks, including our Discord, where you can discuss today's deck in that Discord with me and tons of other combo masterminds. It's absolutely free to join, and it's certainly worth your while.